This is a message to you, our most loyal listeners. Beginning in 2025, we will be offering special Tel Aviv Review episodes, usually with a stronger connection to the current news cycle, episodes that are exclusive to Patreon subscribers. Without the ongoing support of our patrons, many of whom really have been with us for months and years, we simply would not be able to sustain the podcast. All patrons will have access to these special episodes, and they can be set up to show directly in Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Support the show by becoming a patron at Patreon. That's patreon.com/Tel Aviv Review, all in one word. Thank you very much. And now to the show.
This is TLV1.
The Tel Aviv Review.
Hello and welcome to the Tel Aviv Review. I'm your host, Gilad Halpern. This is a special extra episode for our loyal subscribers on Patreon. And as always, we cannot thank you enough. My guest today is an associate professor of history and Jewish studies at Penn State University, specializing in the history of Iran. He has a new book out, not an academic one, but a general interest book, that unlike most of his work, he wrote and published in Hebrew. Iran, Life Itself, History, Politics, Culture and Trauma is out these days, or maybe, Lior, if you're looking for an alternative title, Everything You Wanted to Ask About Iran, but Were Afraid to Know. Dr. Lior Sternfeld, hello and welcome to the Tel Aviv Review.
Hi, Gilad. Great to be here.
Welcome back, I should say.
Yeah.
So, as you write in the book, there's a striking inverse correlation between how much Iran is talked about in the media and how little is known and talked about it for what it really is. So, do you think that discourse is shallow on purpose, or is it just the general laziness that journalists excel at?
I think that it's kind of a mix of both. There is certainly a good amount of laziness in it. Maybe the wish not to be swamped in details and history and context, which is a very bad word these days. But there's also, we don't want to know. We don't want the full history to be contextualized.
Not just in Iran's case.
Not just in Iran's case. In general, we like to choose the anecdotes that define our public conversation and can justify our worldview. And with Iran, it's easier because all the stereotypes are there, all the anecdotes that we need are there, and we love this kind of conversation.
Is it something that that resonates the discourse of other Middle Eastern societies, Arab ones? I mean, do you see very clear similarities and parallels here?
Absolutely, but I think that when it comes to Iran, it's another level because the people that talk about Iran for us, the pundits that talk about Iran for us on Israeli television are the Arab experts. And I wrote in the book that learning about Iran from the Arab perspective is like learning about Israel from the Arab perspective. It's useless. We take the ignorance that is built in and amplify it when it comes to Iran.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about the... I mean, obviously there's a lot of difference, but can you tell us what Arab experts get wrong about Iran?
Yeah, we could see it in full display during the last war, the 12-day war.
Yeah, last June.
Last June, yeah. The conversation that was pretty dominant in the studios was that Israel and the US are now going for a full regime change. That Reza Pahlavi is going to return to Iran. We're going to do away...
That's the leader of the opposition, the exiled opposition, and the
crown
Shah's
prince.
son.
Yeah, the crown prince. He sees himself as the rightful heir for the Iranian regime. We are going to do away with the Islamic Republic, and the war is extremely popular in Iran. Like the outside attack on Iran is very popular in Iran, and this is
because the regime is so unpopular.
Because the regime is so unpopular. And this was so bizarre. I tried in the first few hours, first few days, I tried to trace where in Iranian sources they found it. And it existed in Iran International, which is a Saudi-backed Persian-speaking channel. It existed in the Iranian diaspora discourse, in the US especially. There was no trace of it in Iran, not from the government, obviously not from the government mouthpieces, but also from opposition leaders in Iran, opposition figures, political prisoners. And there was no trace of this kind of discourse. And this is exactly the gap between what happens in Iran and how it's been communicated to the Israelis.
Mm-hmm. You decided to write this book in Hebrew, obviously, I'm guessing, because you are Israeli and Hebrew is your mother tongue, and you're very much immersed in this discourse that you've just talked about and explained. But you've lived in America for several years, where you've done most of your writing about Iran and teaching, and your public speaking as well. Do you feel that the same sort of blind spots that we see in Israel exist also in the Western and specifically the American discourse?
It exists, but it's not as prevalent as it is in the Israeli discourse, because there's much more variety of channels and outlets in the US to give, a broader perception, interpretation of what's going on. And there are many more voices on Iran and, of Iranians in the US and Europe that can be accessible to the American audience.
So you're saying that in America, most of the pundits and the people who weigh in on Iranian issues are Iranian themselves? There's a huge Iranian diaspora.
There's a huge Iranian diaspora, and there are obviously speakers for the Iranian opposition abroad, which is, supporters of Reza Pahlavi and others. But also there are enough voices out there that also provide more nuanced understanding and presentation of news from Iran.
Mm-hmm.
In Israel, it doesn't exist. The Israeli audience doesn't look for sources in languages other than Hebrew, which is a problem in and of itself. As you said, I live in the US, but I am very much invested in the conversation in Israel as well. I see myself part of this conversation, and I try to be helpful in bridging the gaps between my understanding and...
Support the show by becoming a patron at Patreon. That's patreon.com/Tel Aviv Review, all in one word.